friends, I'm Walker and welcome back to All About Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polish. Today I have, I think, my fourth maybe installment in my Kail Polish dupes series. In this series I am looking for dupes in my collection for all of the polishes from Kail Polish that I own. I don't own them all, but I own a lot of them. So today we're going to be looking for dupes for Aries, Miami Fever, Celia, and Matanzas. For those of you that are new to my channel, I only purchase and use polishes that are cruelty-free and vegan, and I also try to avoid some of the kind of bigger toxins that are in traditional nail polishes, and so I don't have some of the brands that you might see on other channels. I don't use OPI, I don't use Essie. China Glaze is kind of an iffy status for me. I don't own any right now, but I'm considering adding some to my collection. And so the brands that you'll see in my videos are a little bit cleaner, they're cruelty-free, they're vegan, and I think because Kail Polish, you know, really prided itself and advertised itself as a brand that was clean, non-toxic, cruelty-free, vegan, I feel like it's good to find a dupe that kind of matches the polish both in ingredients and also in color. So without further ado, let's dive into these four dupes. Alright, next up is Kail Polish Matanzas, and this one is this super shimmery blue. I really like this one. I have heard that Zoya's River is a good dupe for this one, and so I'm going to try this out. They look a little bit different in the bottle. I think the biggest difference that I see is that Matanzas has like more like bigger particles of glitter than River does, and so I'm curious to see how these will look on the nails. Alright, so I'm gonna say that color is a little bit different. River is a little lighter blue, a little bit, maybe it just has more of a finer shimmer, like maybe the base is the same, but there's more shimmer so you kind of see more reflected off. These are not identical. I'm gonna say they're like an 8. They're super close. There might be something closer out there. I think these definitely have a very similar effect on the nail. I kind of like Matanzas a little bit more just because it's a little bit deeper, but this is a pretty good dupe if you're looking for one. All right, friends, we're gonna look at Miami Fever now. This one is a really pretty kind of terracotta-y, rusty brown color, and I love these super warm-toned shades. I think they're so nice. I have two that I want to compare this one to. I want to compare it to Cirque Colors Bowery, which is one that I think gets brought up a lot as a dupe for this one, and I also want to compare it to Hester, which is from 10 Over 10. This is actually the only polish that I own from this brand, but I really enjoy it. It is another kind of very clean in terms of, you know, free of many chemicals. It still has chemicals because it's nail polish, but it's free of a lot of the big ones, and it is vegan and cruelty free, and you can buy this one at Target, which is really nice. It makes it a little bit more accessible than Cirque Colors. I think it's going to come out a little bit deeper and a little bit more red than Miami Fever and Bowery just by looking at these three here, but let's go ahead and swatch. Alright, so I do think that all three of these are a little bit different. None of them are exact dupes, but we have Bowery here, Miami Fever, and Hester. I do think that Bowery and Miami Fever are the closest. I would say Bowery has a little bit more kind of orange in it. It's a little bit more like fiery, and Miami Fever is a little bit dustier. They are pretty close. I think I am going to de-stash Miami Fever because they do look pretty similar. It's a little less bright than Bowery, but I don't feel like I need both of them in my collection. I definitely think Hester is a nice deep, more red toned, kind of almost brick color. So that one is a little bit different, I would say. But yeah, there we go. That's Miami Fever. All right, next up we have Kale Polish Celia. This one is a really pretty cream. It's a pink cream. It's kind of a vibrant pink, but then it has this like really nice blue tone to it. So I think this one's kind of a deep pink. It's pretty different from what I have because it's blue toned, but it's still like a hot, bright pink. And so when I tried to match it with my Zoyas, I had a lot of blue toned pinks that just weren't quite right. Like this one is Ellie, for example, and you can see how much warmer toned Celia is. It has a lot more kind of brightness and hotness to it. So I had a really hard time matching this one. The best that I could come up with were a couple Zoyas. This one is Renee, and I think it looks pretty close in the bottle, but I think Renee has kind of a neon-y formula, so I don't think it's quite gonna work. And then I have Yana. Yana, it looked very similar on the swatch stick, but in the bottle it actually looks pretty different. They have a similar undertone. They're both very bright, but I don't think that Yana has enough of the like blue undertone that's in Celia. And then the last one I have is from Cirque Colors. This one is Blushing Queens. And it's pretty bright, but it's another kind of blue toned polish, so I think it's a little bit too blue toned. I don't know that any of these are gonna be perfect, but they're definitely the closest that I have, which is amazing because Zoya has a million pinks, but I think these two are the closest. Renee. Alright, so I have Celia here, and I think Cirque Colors over here, Blushing Queen, is probably the closest, but it's a little bit too deep, a little bit too kind of blue toned pink, maybe. Not purple. These are not purple, these are pink. So I feel like this is kind of hard. I don't think I have any that are identical. Yana is kind of close. It's this very pretty kind of bright pink, but it's a little bit too like coral and light. So I would say the closest is Blushing Queen, but none of these are perfect for Celia. I do think I'm going to destash it just because I'm not a huge pink fan, and I have a lot of other really nice bright pinks. This one's a really good one though, and I don't quite have a dupe in my collection, but I think any of these, either Yana or Blushing Queen, would get you pretty close. Alright, and then last up we're going to look at Kale Polish Aries. This is from the Zodiac collection that released almost about a year ago now. This was one of the last launches from Kale Polish. They had two final collections. This one is a really nice, vibrant, super bright kind of red toned orange. And I want to compare it to Orly's Muy Caliente, which came out this summer. This one is another kind of neon, super bright, vibrant orange, but I think this one is going to be a little bit too neon and not quite enough like grounded. But I also want to compare it to Zoya's Pas, which again I think is going to be a little bit too fiery, not quite like red enough. But I do want to show you these three compared because I think they're three really nice oranges. Alright, so we have Aries in the middle, this is the Orly, and this is Zoya Pas, and I just feel like they're not perfect. I would say Muy Caliente is a little bit closer. Aries is a little bit more like burnt orangey and not quite as neon as either of these, but Muy Caliente probably has the same kind of combination of red and orange in it. It's just a little bit more neon. Pas is definitely a little bit more like traffic cone orange, so it's not quite right. These two are probably closest, but I do feel like neither of them are perfect. I am probably gonna destash Aries anyways, even though it's really nice, because I don't wear neon orange enough to need 3 of them, but I really like this color, so I don't know, it's a little bit hard, but I love Muy Caliente, so I think I'm fine destashing Aries, even without a, you know, perfect dupe.